Hi everyone! So I chose to do my video on the book The Plague and how it relates to the literary term allegory and the historical event of the French resistance to the Nazi occupation. First off, I got all my information using the Wikipedia entry of the book The Plague and the French resistance. So, first of all, we all know what happens in the book. The town of Iran is hit with the bubonic plague, and throughout the story, we see how different characters react to the situation. So, I don't need to tell you what happens in the book. So, the first topic I'm going to cover is the term allegory. So, allegory is a literary device in which an author uses the characters and events as symbols that stand for ideas about human life or for a political or historical situation. So in the book The Plague, we see that there is a symbol for the terms absurdism / the human experience. There also is a symbol for the historical event, the French Resistance. Here's a picture of the French Resistance flag. So on June 22nd, 1940 is when the country of France was taken over by Germany. And the result of this was the German government made the citizens of France pay for their occupations, meaning they had to pay for the expenses of the German army. They sent many of the French citizens over to Germany for labor, and because of this, food shortages and malnutrition resulted in the country of France. So many citizens were upset with the German government and how they were running their country, so they formed these resistance groups to the German government taking over their country. And what these groups did were they performed guerrilla warfare activities against the government. They even wrote underground newspapers providing information to the Allies. They also helped maintain escape networks for the citizens of France. And eventually, this whole resistance helped the Allies in the invasion of Normandy. These groups consisted of 220,000 men and women from all different types of class. So what the German government did to people that they suspected were part of these groups were they either took them as hostages or they even sometimes executed them. And here's a picture of some of the people who were in the resistant groups. So how does the book relate to the French Resistance? Well, Albert Camus wrote this book to draw from his own experience during World War II of isolation. So some examples how the book relates to the French Resistance. The town of Iran is cut off from the outside world because they're infected by the bubonic plague. Well, the country of France was also cut off when they were taken over by Germany. Another example, the people of the French Resistance are much like the characters Robert and Grant who fight the disease, and so they fight against the German government. Also, the plague carries people off, just like the Germans who sent the French citizens over to Germany for labor. And throughout my research, I found a quote that Camus refers to the plague, and it says, "In terms that describe an enemy in war, the epidemic was in retreat all along the line, victory was won, and the enemy was abandoning his positions." So my questions for you guys are, number one, would you rather have your town taken over by a disease or invaded by another country? And number two, based on your answer for question one, would you stay and fight the enemy or would you leave to protect you and your family? I hope you guys enjoyed my video and I'll see you guys in class on Tuesday. Bye!